Right now, somewhere in your mind, there is a decision sitting untouched. Maybe it has been sitting there for days. Maybe weeks. Maybe longer than you would like to admit. And every single day, instead of making that decision, you think about it. You go around it, over it, under it. You play every possible scenario. You imagine every possible outcome. And by the end of it all, you are exactly where you started. Stuck. That is not careful thinking. That is a trap. And today, we are walking out of it. I want you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because what I am about to share with you is not theory. It is not a concept you read once and forget. It is a tool. A real, working tool that you can use today, the moment this video ends, to finally move forward. Here is what overthinking actually looks like in real life. You want to start something, a business, a conversation, a new habit, a hard decision, but before you take a single step, your mind goes to work. What if it fails? What if people judge me? What if I make the wrong move? What if things do not go the way I planned? And just like that, you are not thinking about the decision anymore. You are living in a future that does not even exist yet. You are suffering over outcomes that have not happened. You are exhausted by a war you made up in your own head. And here is the part that hurts the most. While you are stuck in your head, life keeps moving. The opportunity does not wait. The moment does not pause. Time does not slow down for anyone who is still thinking. Overthinking is not you being careful. Overthinking is fear wearing a very convincing disguise. It pretends to be preparation. It pretends to be wisdom. But underneath it, there is just one thing. The fear of what you cannot control. And that is exactly where everything changes. Over 2,000 years ago, a man named Epictetus said something so simple, so sharp, that it has the power to cut through every spiral your mind has ever created. He said this: some things are in our control. And some things are not. That is it. That is the whole thing. What is in your control? Your actions. The step you take. The words you say. The effort you put in. The choice you make right now. What is not in your control? The outcome. What people think. Whether it works out perfectly. What happens after you act. Read that again slowly. You control the action. You do not control the result. And this is where most people are living their entire lives backwards. They are spending all of their energy trying to control the outcome, trying to guarantee the result before they even begin, and they are giving zero energy to the only thing that was ever theirs to own. The action itself. Every time you overthink, you are trying to control something that was never in your hands. You are trying to predict the future, manage every risk, eliminate every unknown, before you take a single step. And your mind cannot do that. Nobody's mind can do that. So it just keeps spinning. Epictetus did not say ignore the consequences. He said stop letting imagined consequences stop you from acting on what is real and what is right in front of you. So here is how you actually use this today. Not someday. Today. Whenever you feel yourself overthinking a decision, I want you to do 3 things. First, write the decision in 1 line. Not a paragraph. Not a list of pros and cons. 1 single line. I need to send this message. I need to start this project. I need to have this conversation. 1 line. That is it. The moment you write it in 1 line, you strip away all the noise your mind added around it. You see the decision for what it actually is. And almost every time, it is much simpler than the storm you built around it. Second, ask yourself 1 question. Is what is stopping me actually real, or is it something I imagined? Be honest. Most of the time, you will find that what is holding you back is not a real obstacle. It is a future scenario that exists only in your head. A rejection that has not happened. A failure that has not occurred. A judgment that nobody has made yet. The moment you see that, the moment you realize your fear is made of imagination and not reality, it loses its grip on you. Third, identify the 1 controllable step. Not the whole journey. Not the entire plan. Just the very next thing you can actually do. Send the message. Open the document. Make the call. Book the appointment. One step. The smallest possible action that moves you forward. And then do it. Immediately. Before your mind has a chance to create another story around it. This is not a motivational trick. This is what Epictetus was talking about. You take what is yours, the action, and you let go of what was never yours, the outcome. And you repeat this. Every single time the overthinking starts, you come back to these 3 steps. You write it in one line. You separate the real from the imagined. And you act on the controllable step. Over time, something shifts. The cycle of analysis breaks. The spiral loses power. Action becomes your default, not thinking. And your life starts to actually move. I need you to understand something that most people never stop to realize. Every day you spend overthinking is a day you traded your potential for fear. That is not a small thing. That is your life. Your actual life, not being lived because you were too busy preparing to live it. The person you want to become, the life you want to build, the things you want to create, none of that happens in your head. It only happens when you move. When you act. When you stop waiting for certainty that was never going to come anyway. Nobody who ever built anything great did it because they were 100% sure it would work. They did it because they decided that doing something imperfect was more powerful than doing nothing perfectly planned. You have been waiting for the fear to go away before you act. But that is not how it works. You act, and then the fear shrinks. You move, and then the clarity comes. You do the thing, and then you realize it was never as terrifying as your mind made it out to be. Epictetus did not sit around waiting for life to feel safe enough to engage with. He was a slave, with nothing, with no freedom, with no power over his circumstances, and he still chose to build an unshakable inner world. He still chose to act on what was his. His thoughts. His response. His next move. If he could do that with nothing, what is your excuse? You have everything you need, right now, to take the next step. The only thing standing between you and that step is a future that exists only in your imagination. Let it go. Write the decision. Take the step. Trust the process. You started this video as someone who was stuck. Caught in your own head. Turning a decision over and over without ever putting it down. But right now, in this moment, you understand something you did not before. You are not stuck because you lack information. You are not stuck because the timing is wrong. You are not stuck because you need more preparation. You are stuck because you have been trying to control what you cannot control, and ignoring the only thing you actually can. That changes today. From this moment forward, every time the spiral starts, every time the overthinking pulls you under, you come back to this. One line. One question. One step. That is the whole practice. That is day 1. And I want you to know something. The person who finishes this video and actually uses this today is not the same person who pressed play. That person was paralyzed by imagination. This person acts on reality. That is not a small shift. That is the beginning of everything. So do not close this video and go back to thinking. Go and do the thing. Right now. The one you have been putting off. The one sitting at the back of your mind right now as you listen to this. You know what it is. Write it in one line. Take the step. Day 1 starts now. If this hit you in a way you needed today, subscribe. Because day 2 is coming, and it is going to go even deeper. Drop in the comments the one decision you are taking action on today. Write it down. Make it real. Let's move together.